They've come together and will be part of our storytelling event at the end of October. I'll tell you a little bit about each of the women here today, but before I do, I wanted to just say that probably one of the top of mind subjects for individuals, especially as we go into our 50s and 60s and contemplate retirement or how we're going to live out our beautiful third acts, is the subject of our financial health and our ability to stay financially independent and feel comfortable with making shifts in our lives without having to worry. So I thought that I wanted to start with these two amazing women. So about 2 months ago, I heard from an organization that Sarah McGinniss is one of the financial advisors within. It's called Savant Wealth. I was really struck with how aligned we were in terms of our approach to wanting to support women. So I asked them to be a part of the storytelling event to give us some really wonderful ideas, but mostly I thought it would be wonderful for one of their the relationships they have with one of their clients to share a story of someone that could really bring this whole process and way of enabling your life and calling to be followed by sharing the story of an individual. So Sarah has introduced us to Amy Florian, and I'll tell you quickly about them, and then we'll chat a bit, so you get to know them a bit. So Amy is what I hadn't heard this term, but I love it. It's called a thanologist. Am I correctly?
Thanatologist.
Oh, I am so sorry. Thanatologist.
Thanatologist.
Thank you.
That's all right. Nobody's ever heard of it before.
Well, it's wonderful because it's such an important part of life and living. And that is that you are an expert in death, loss, grief, aging, and transition. So it's something on the top of all of our minds, especially as we are in this beautiful time of our life that I like to call our third act. What's interesting about your work is that it combines neuroscience and psychology with some healthy humor to teach people how to prepare and cope and heal through life's most difficult times. And you are, Amy, widely published. You've had over 250 articles, including 2 award-winning books. One, which I haven't read, but I look forward to, is entitled A Friend Indeed. Help those you love when they grieve. I think that's probably one of the most difficult things to know how to do. So I think it's wonderful that you put that out into the world for us. Clearly, your passion is about helping people heal. After teaching graduate classes for 10 years, you speak at conferences worldwide, and we're just so happy that you're here with us at the end of October to share your personal story. I love also this, you gave me this piece of information on a personal side. You are the third of 10 children. And oh my gosh, you make fabulous cinnamon rolls. Why are we having to do this virtually? I want to taste test. So
I'll take a rain check on that.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. So, and then I want to also introduce you to Sarah McGinniss. As I mentioned, she's a part of Savant Wealth. She is passionate about assisting women to shape their financial futures. And she's one of the founding members of an organization that Savant has in its initiative called Sense of Self, spelled CENTS of Self, which is really about helping women achieve financial independence. You partner with a variety of different executives, business owners, and other successful women to inspire and inform them, but mostly to empower them to pursue their ideal lives, as I like to say, for our third act. So your focus and your work has brought you together with Amy, and then both of you together today, and you'll be sharing a lot more at the end of October for our actual event. But I wanted to get to know you both a little bit more. So if I could start with you, Amy, and ask you a question that is always first on my mind when I meet somebody who's living a very purposeful and fulfilling third act. And that is to understand a little bit about the path that brought you there. Now, you don't have to tell me all the beautiful details, but there's usually a defining moment in our lives where we could call it an aha, but it's when we recognize what becomes eventually our purpose, our calling, whatever you want to name it. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your experiences.
Well, I have actually two life-defining moments. The first one, when I was quite young, I married my high school sweetheart. We were 25 years old, had a 7-month-old baby boy after having 2 miscarriages and wondering if we'd ever be able to have our own children. I mean, we felt like the luckiest people on the face of the earth. And then John was killed in a car accident. And everything I thought I had, everything I had planned for my future simply disappeared. I had no idea at the time that I was going to end up being a thanatologist, an expert in this field. It was an interesting path that has too many details to explain right now, but suffice to say that I was asked to give some seminars on grief and loss, and it went from there. And I went back and got the education, and it's just so gratifying to me to be able to help people have what I didn't have when John died. There were all kinds of people who loved me. I'm one of 10 children, but nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew what to say. I had to figure it out myself. And if I can help other people not have to figure it out themselves, and help people, all those people who loved me around me, to be able to know what to do, what to say, that's the best. That's my passion in life. That's my purpose in life. Along the way, I did marry again, had 2 more boys. Ken and I had some wonderful, wonderful times. But there were issues along the way, and it eventually culminated in the finalization of our divorce. That event is defining my older years. It's still unfolding. It's still unfolding now.
So you are clearly a person who sadly was forced at a young age to get in touch with who you are. And, you know, your resilience is clear, but, you know, many people would have crumbled under the grief and under the responsibility of raising a child on your own. So tell me a little bit about what you think or what you know about yourself that this incident helped you learn.
I learned that, and I believe this is universal, we're all stronger than we know. We all have hidden strengths, talents that we've never brought to the fore because we've been on one path. And that's when we're on one path, we tend to turn our attention toward that path, turn all our abilities toward that path. And when that gets entirely opened up and you have to figure out, okay, who am I? What do I want? I'm not living my life for somebody else. I'm living my life for me. To try to discover those things within, I had to dig deep and find that strength. We have it. Well, you do have a choice.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You had a choice, and
I've met people who don't want to heal, and they never do. But if you want to heal, you can find that strength. You can find the strength. You can do it. There are resources available. And you've got enough inside you. I think we're born with that. It gets covered up, but we're born with that. We can handle more than we think.
So I want to transition now to what was this self-awareness and discovery of your strength and the resilience that you really flexed your resilience muscle over the years. But then you took that step further, and to do what is very selfless work, which is to have a mission to help others. I think I saw something in one thing I read about you that you've helped over 2,000 individuals through a grieving, help them with their grieving and loss. So talk to me, and this also, Sarah, this is, I'm making sure that I don't get the timing wrong, but at some point the two of you met because in order to enable you to give out and to make the shifts in your life that you're making and have made, especially after your divorce, to be able to feel safe enough, I guess, to follow your calling. You had to be financially secure and you had to have that. So can you tell me a little bit, either Sarah or Amy, how the two of you came to know each other and the conversations that you've had in terms of planning financially?
Yeah, well, Sarah was not there when John died. I was in a little town in rural Iowa, and I'm substantially older than Sarah. I don't know. So when John died, thankfully we had life insurance. My dad was an insurance agent. A lot of people don't. Oh my gosh, have life insurance. Have life insurance. You need that. When people don't have life insurance and they don't have the financial, they're worried about the financial. They can't even grieve because they're so worried and stressed about the financial. So I was really grateful I had life insurance, but I didn't know what to do with the money. I'm not a money person. I don't like numbers. I don't like portfolios. I don't like investments. I need somebody who can do that for me so that I can do what I'm best at.
Right.
My financial advisor then was very good at investing money and giving me financial advice. Didn't have a clue what to say to me. I felt like a number, not a person. I stayed with him. He knew what he was doing until I found a financial advisor who also knew what to say to me. And boy, did I switch fast. Boom. There are people out there that will not treat you like a number. There's people out there who will not talk down to you or patronize you. There are people out there who really will help you as a person. Now, eventually, I moved different places, married Ken, yada, yada, eventually moved to the Chicago area. And I met Sarah actually at a financial conference where I was teaching a session. I was impressed with her. She was impressed with me. We got together, and Sarah has been initially our financial advisor, now my financial advisor, ever since. She treats me like a person. She looks at my goals, at my life, tries to fill in the gaps. And, when you become divorced at the age of 66, you split all the assets. That has tremendous financial implications. And Sarah's there walking me through the whole thing. So it's really been a success story, our relationship together. And then from your perspective, Sarah, you have anything to add to that?
No, I wanted to echo the comment. When we met, I was sitting in a classroom learning from Amy, and I was absolutely blown away. So as a financial advisor, right, I do spend a lot of my time doing the number crunching, and I love that. I love that kind of stuff. But one of the things that I've realized as I, am in this career longer is so much of what my role also is to make sure I'm taking care of the person, right? And there's a lot that goes on that is not about numbers. And so sitting in that classroom and hearing from Amy, there were a lot of aha moments that I had just as what are the things that I can do better? And Amy just outlined a whole area that I didn't feel like I was good at or that I could, get better at. And so I remember coming back from that conference with Amy and, telling everybody in my office, we're all ordering this book. We all need to be better at this because this is something that makes us different and makes us, be able to take care of people better, right? We're all good at what we do in terms of the numbers, but where are the gaps that we have as advisors that we can do better? And so that was my big moment when I met Amy is, wow, I had never heard of thanatology before either. But after meeting her, just realizing, there's this big area out there that we could all be better at. Because whether it's professionally or personally, we've all been in those situations where, you get a phone call about somebody passing away, or, life transitions happening. What do you say? Right? What are the right things to say? And as Amy said, we all probably know that we all say very similar things that may not be the right things.
Oh,
And so
absolutely.
Amy was great at helping that transition, and just knowing Amy for the amount of years that we've now known each other and watching her go through these transitions, right? Both components come into play. It's we got to focus on the numbers, and we need to make a plan for what we thought Amy's life was gonna be, right? So we made a plan for that, and now we're making a different plan. But it's having somebody be proactive and walk through each one of those steps, so that Amy can do what she's great at, right? Amy loves to go out and speak and take care of people. And so that's where I come in, is being able to be her partner along the way, and help her plan as life evolves for everybody.
Well, it's very clear that you two have what you just used the word partner. You have a partnership. It's clear that you're in touch with your why. Yes, this is a job that you perform and a service, but it's gone much deeper for you. It's a purpose, and it brings you, it sounds like it brings you a lot of joy to be able to form these kinds of relationships, but also just quite honestly, Amy is just you're a remarkable human being. And what you do is just, you bringing your heart out into the world after all of the pain that you've been through. So how wonderful for you, Sarah, to be a part of helping to make that come true. So I want to talk a little bit about, ask both of you. It's a sort of a strange question, but I'm really feeling that for so many people who will be listening in October and who are listening to our conversation today, there's so much fear and uncertainty around their financial future, but there's also so much reticence to follow their hearts because, if I just stay here safely hugging the tree financially, I'll be okay. But is that really living? So I'd love to talk to you a little bit about uncertainty and fear as this process unfolds for you.
Fear is a natural emotion. It's all of our emotions are amoral. There's no morality. They are amoral. There's no morality to emotions. They simply arise. Fear is trying to protect us, trying to keep us safe, trying to keep us from getting hurt. And it serves a really, really valuable purpose when there's actual danger there. It can become stifling when there isn't. Women, I think, in my experience, are too afraid of not being perfect, of making a mistake, of trying something and having it fail. And so we tend not to, and I tended not to, take risks, try things, do things, because of the fear that isn't going to work out. And the fear, financial fear too. Will I have enough money? Will I be able to make money? Well, you'll find out if you try, but you're never going to find out if you don't try. You look inside yourself, you go deep into who you are, what you want brings you fulfillment. Life is too short to not discover who you are and live that out in the world. Life is too short to just stay safe, to just stay enclosed, to just, as you said, just hug yourself into yourself and not let anybody in and not do anything. Life is too short for that. I'm working all the time, and I sound as if I've overcome this. No, are you kidding? Becoming is a lifetime process. Discovering yourself is a lifetime process. I didn't realize that when I was younger. I thought I'd have myself all figured out by the time I was 50. No, it's a lifetime process. So keep discovering who you are and what fulfills you, what helps you be the best person that you are. And then go do that. Try to recognize fear when there really is danger. And when it's really not danger, just kind of partner with your fear. Say, okay, let's do this together. We can do this. You warn me when something's really dangerous, but let's do this together. We've got strength here to do it with us. We've got resilience here to do it with us. We've got intelligence here to do it with us. We've got a solid foundation. We've got people around us. We've got resources. We can all do this together. Let's work together. Keep the fear in the back seat. You stay driving.
Oh, absolutely. Amen. I think that I was thinking just that beautiful analogy myself the other day as I was walking. I said, you're allowed in the car, but you don't get to touch the GPS. I get to do that.
There you go.
So, Sarah, you must see a why. Clearly, with Amy, she's a resilient human, but she's also very in touch with all the components of her decisions. But tell me a little bit about what you encounter and how you help women that aren't necessarily as secure in who they are or who they want to be or how they want to live. How do you help them?
Yeah, I think a lot of the fear, especially that I see in women, comes from, right, we want control of things, and it's really hard to let go of that control or to even admit that we might not have it. And so I think one of my roles is really, kind of organizing people's lives, right? Okay, if we're going to make a shift in this one area of our life, let's talk about, what are the other kind of possibilities or ramifications of that, and start to help them understand, with this change, what are the other things that are going to be affected by it. And that's really where I come in, is understanding, right, all of the variety of things just from the financial side that come when you transition in your career, or you lose a spouse, or you get divorced or something like that. A lot of my clients will contact me and talk through those things way before they ever make those changes, right? So that we can go through, what is this going to look like? So they don't need to live in the internal fear. Let's get those things out on the table, and let's get organized, right? Let's think about all of those things, even though those are really difficult things to talk about. It becomes so much easier when it's on the table, and we know, with those choices, here are some of the great things that could happen. Here are some of the challenging things that may happen with this. So it's perspective. It's regaining control in a different way through organization and knowledge. That's where I think I really, hopefully come into play.
Wonderful. So what I love so much about this conversation, which could very easily have become about, financial planning, it's really about emotions. It's about being in touch with who we are and aligning ourselves with people who honor that. So I love that. What I also especially want to reflect on too, as we lead into this event at the end of October, we'll be hearing from a number of other women who are embracing their third act and have discovered or uncovered their calling in a variety of ways. But the one thing that unifies them is the committed, focused action toward living their life fully and not letting fear hold them back, and about having faith in what they feel from their heart. So I'm just so thrilled that the two of you will join us, and we'll hear more about Amy's inspiring story, hear a little bit more about her work. But before we close, I'd like to ask you, Amy, I ask every storyteller this: if your life's philosophy were to be emblazoned on a bumper sticker, what would it be?
It would be, become who you were created to be. Because if you can do that, if you can realize who you are and evermore become that. And as I said, it's a lifelong process. If you can become who you are, then you will live a meaningful life. You will make a difference in the world. You will help other people. You'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you'll go to your grave without so many regrets. So become who you were created to be, not who somebody else thinks you ought to be.
And also have the faith that the knowing comes when it comes, right? So many
The
people.
knowing comes, yeah, it's a lifelong process. Who you thought you were, who I thought I was created to be when I was 20 was way different than who I believed I was created to be when I was 60. It's an ongoing process of growing, maturing, understanding, experiencing, because all of our life experiences feed into that too. Just continually become who you were created to be.
That's beautiful. And Sarah, thank you for introducing us to Amy and for gathering with us today, and for the work that you do helping women become and live the lives they wish to live for their third acts.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amy. I'm so grateful you were willing to be a part of this, and excited for you to be able to share your story with everybody in October. I know it's going to be really impactful.
Have a beautiful day. Talk to you very soon. See you soon.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you.